legs out like that if you want, and pretty much you're going to walk yourself down to the floor. It's a controlled fall, kind of. So look at the hamstring length she's using right here, and then this can be on the seat or on the armrest, and then just lower your hips down to the ground. Perfect. And so I'm going to swing these out of the way so you have more room. So your patient, any patient, to get down to the floor, it's good to do the technique that Lisa demonstrated. Just kind of scoot to the end, 45-degree angle, and just a controlled fall, lower to yourself to the ground. You can always land on a cushion if you want, if you don't want it to be that steep. Or you can lower down to a stool and then to the floor. Practicing it in therapy, we usually practice like uneven mats, like you did in the classroom. Like in long sitting position is a great way to kind of transition and go up and up higher mats. To get down to the floor, a lot of times I'll break it up with a cushioned stool or a pillow over a stool, and we go halfway down and then all the way down until they can do the whole, the height difference. There are 3 ways to go from the floor back to the chair. The first way is the only way a patient with a C7 injury can do it. Higher than C7 cannot be done. You need triceps to do it. And it's exceptional potential of somebody at the level of C7 because they use their triceps because they don't have full hand function and they don't have any trunk control. So one way you can do is you can bring the ground up by first transferring to the cushion. So the cushion was right up there. Okay. You're going to angle yourself to about 45 degrees to the chair. I'm going to move this caster so it's a little, and maybe you can scoot yours so you got perfect. So you're going to pretend you're using your wrist extensors to flex your knees underneath you. This is what was demonstrated by Jason in the video. So really fold up those legs as much as possible so they don't fall into abduction or extension during the transfer. You can slightly internally rotate the feet. Well, you can do it actively, but you would do it passively. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your right hand and you're going to put it on probably give yourself a little space so you can transfer to. And you're going to use that extreme hip-head relationship. So the elbows point to the ceiling. Are you comfortable with your hand like that? Okay. So this bottom hand, if somebody has a C7 level of injury, they have triceps, they have wrist extensors, but they also have wrist flexors. So they can obtain a neutral wrist position. So take your left hand, make a fist. That gives them a couple more inches for this kind of maneuver. So she's going to bring her head down, and she's going to bring her hips up. And the therapist will come and go ahead, push up. Perfect. Keep on pushing up. And so she would probably have to work on maneuvers where it's not so high. So we did try to bring the height up by the cushion. So you don't want your legs out, you want your legs flexed. You really want to go forward, and that would help under the hips until she was all the way up into the chair. So, thank you very much. But the hamstring range is really important. So you can definitely see it going down, but coming up as well. You can almost walk yourself up her legs a little bit. But she has to have enough strength to get her hips on that edge of the seat, and then she can walk herself up.
I also needed my hand on this.
Do you want to try that?
Yeah. I did put it. That's how
okay, that's how you did it. So yes. So she put her hand on the cushion so she gained more height.
Yeah, because with my hands lower than my hips, I couldn't do it.
As a therapist, a lot of what you're doing is you want to make sure their initial setup is correct. If it's not, kind of reposition them. Kind of, if it doesn't work, problem solve. Where do they change their hand positions? Where do they change their hip positions? And then it's really an active assistive. So it's always active assistive until they can actively do it themselves, is the key thing. So as a therapist, you're working on proper setup and assist them until they become more and more independent. And try to make the task achievable. So you might raise the height or lower the height, give them more or less assistance as needed. Thank you very much. The next person I need is somebody that has